some of these folks were simply consulting. You couldn't tell. And you don't want to have the people who are doing the hiring wonder what you were doing between this time and that time. What was your relationship with the company that was paying your salary? A number of descriptions of what people did, but not enough notation of accomplishments. What did you actually accomplish? You've all heard the drill on writing resumes. There are 1.5 million good examples for you. Go find them. Look at it. And the visual impression that a resume makes is also very, very important. Don't try to cram everything onto a single page so that there's no white space there. Space everything. Make it easy for people to find the kinds of things on your resume that you want to find, that you want them to find. Highlight the things that need to be highlighted. And you know, I'm not sure about accounting, but I think the rule for most jobs is get it onto one page. Now what they say for accounting resume is get it onto one page if you get, especially if it's an entry-level position, all right? That's what the gurus would tell you. You know what the research shows? The people who have more than one page on the resume are the people who get the jobs. Right? Now what you don't want to do is say, oh, I heard this lecture and the guy said, you know, make it more than one page. So you get on to the second page and you write this much. You don't want to do that. If you put it all on one page, the assumption is there was a lot more this person could say. Didn't have enough space to say it, and I want to hear what else the person has to report. If you put it on one page and put only this much on the second page, the assumption is that's all there is. So if you go on to the second page, space it out. There are all kinds of tricks you can play. You don't have that much to say, fill it in some way. Shorten your margins maybe. Use a little bit larger font. Don't make it too obvious. Don't make it too obvious what you're doing. That's basically what I wanted to say. Persevere, persevere. Keep the goal in mind, and be aware that it's sometimes serendipity. Be prepared for the unexpected. Thank you for your attention.
As Joe said, believe it or not, I am a professional in accounting, for the accounting world. I come from a school of thought that you learn a lot from people's experiences and history, so I want to share a little bit about my life with you guys, and hopefully you guys can get a couple pointers. So I was born and raised in Chicago in the Humboldt Park area. Not sure if you guys are familiar with that area. Not the best of areas growing up, but somehow I managed to avoid all the extracurriculars outside of school and home. Was born to two Guatemalan parents. My mom finished high school, my dad finished the 6th grade, and then went to work to support his family. So I take that as learning from their experiences. So I wanted to do something or become something more of myself. Ended up going to Whitney Young High School. Anyone know where Whitney Young is? Or, so I went there for my high school degree. Once high school was done, had no idea what I wanted to do. Actually, I wanted to become an engineer, but that didn't work out. Went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, right down 57 from here. Graduated in 4 years with a major in management information systems. Now, how does that apply to accounting? Well, during my college career, I actually interned, and this is, from what I hear, it's very important from your professor and the provost, Dr. Curtis said. Internships are very, very important because they actually give you the experience of what you're going to do in a day-to-day job. Fortunately for me, as a freshman going into the university, I was able to get an internship through a program called Inroads, and I'm not sure if any of you guys know what Inroads is. It's a very, if you guys want to write this down, inroads.org, very important organization that helps students who are pursuing 4-year degrees in business-related fields match up with a company in order to get that experience. My first company that I was matched up with was Marsh McLennan, which does risk management. I had no idea what risk management was, but it was something that kind of brought me into the field that I'm into, or that I'm in right now. The only thing with inroads is you're going to be committed for 2 summers, which is fine. You get paid to learn, so it's a perfect experience. So I did that working in insurance sales, which is a lot of golf, and IT support, which is pretty much if you have a problem with a printer, you call me, I go ahead and fix it. So I learned a lot during that summer. The following summer, I had the opportunity to intern with PricewaterhouseCoopers. PricewaterhouseCoopers, of course, one of the big 4 public accounting firms that exist today. Actually, because of my IT background, I did a lot of IT audit. It's basically reviewing the policies and procedures that companies have related to their system. So if our account, let's say an auditing accountant goes into a firm and wants to rely on the numbers that are getting spit out by the computer, I have to go in before that accountant goes and does his work to make sure that he can rely on the numbers that are getting spit out by the computer. So I'm making sure that no one's touching them, that there's proper security around systems, that if someone has to change something in the system, that they're able to do that. So internship between junior and senior year, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and 95% of the interns get full-time offers. I unfortunately was one of the 5% that didn't. And I was wondering why. You know, when it comes down to it, you can tell when you have a passion for something, and to me, reviewing policies and procedures wasn't my passion. Luckily for me, at that time, PwC sold its consulting practice to IBM, and through that channel, I was able to meet people at IBM and talk to them and see where I wanted to take my career. Senior year comes around, I'm in school. You know, everyone told me MIS stood for mistake, and I was starting to believe them because I didn't have a job. I was about to graduate. I was like, come on, something come up, right? IBM came around and offered me something, and of course I took it. Was there for about 2 years doing business consulting, ERP implementation actually, but I'm fine where I'm at. So yeah, I was doing ERP implementation, stuff like that, more on the technical side. And to all your accountants, I'll get to the accounting part pretty soon. I was there about 2 years, traveling on the road constantly, Monday, 5 o'clock a.m. flight to the city